Hello friends, dear brothers and sisters. Greetings to you and I wish you all are doing well. I'm sure you would have watched my previous video on death and resurrection and the hope and the state of the dead. Now, I want to tell you something very, very unique. I just want to ask you a question today. Who is your best enemy? Usually we ask a question like this, who is your best friend? Should be a proper question. But today I wanted to ask you, who is your best enemy? You might be wondering, there is no enemy who is so best, who is so good. Enemy is an enemy. We do not have anybody whom we like and they become our friends. We don't like somebody to be our enemy. But sometimes we need to know there is one enemy in our life. Whether you like it or don't like it, he will be with you always. And that enemy is death. So if I ask the question, who is your best enemy? Death is our best enemy. And who is your first enemy? It is death. Who is your last enemy? It is death. So enemy first, the enemy who is last, the enemy who is always with us is always death. Why? Because we know not when we will die. The moment we are born, what's going to happen next? We know not. We do not have the assurance of life every day. That's why death is our final, the first and the last enemy. But what can you do about it? Can we ever win this death? Can you make death as your best friend? Well, it's a hard question, isn't it? Death cannot be our best friend because death is our last enemy, is a crucial enemy. If some human being, someone whom I know, someone whom you love, if they become your enemy, there is hope that they would become your friend again. But how can death be our friend? Never it's going to happen. That's why, friends, I want to tell you a short, clear, and a worthy message today that God took away this death from us. How? God treats this death as our last enemy. God's writing says, God has won over every problems in this world, in our lives. He has won over hunger and thirst. He has won over poverty and sickness. Will not God win over death? God is a victor. If He can win poverty, if He can win sickness, He can very well defeat death. And that's what God did for each one of us. God says, the last enemy that He won is death. So we don't need to fear about death. We don't need to worry about death. We don't need to think about that death will overtake us. No, not at all. Because our worst enemy, death, has been won by God. He has defeated death. How? Death could not swallow God. Jesus Christ is the model for that. When Jesus was put to death on the cross of Calvary, He was kept in the tomb for 3 days and He came back to life and is living and will live forever. That death cannot keep Jesus forever under the grave. God brought Jesus to life. So death has been defeated through our God, Jesus Christ. God wants to defeat the same death for each one of you, that someday we will all come back to life, through which you will know that death has been defeated. So do not worry about death. Do not worry about whom you lost in the recent times. Death is defeated. It's just another enemy. It's very easy for God to win over every problems of life, and death is a final enemy. Now tell me, who is your last enemy? Death. Even that enemy is defeated. You have no enemy now. Your sorrow will be taken away. Your fear will be taken away. Your hunger will be taken away. Your poverty will be taken away. And finally, death is also taken away. Jesus won victory over death. And that's the hope that you and I and all my friends all across the world have. Do not worry about death. God won victory over death, and you will be back to life soon. And I wish you that blessing of life now and forever when God comes. God bless you. Take courage. Friends, have you been watching our YouTube channel, the Sampurna Australia? I think you are watching. I'm sure you like it. If you have any questions, please comment, please contact to the phone number that I have given in the description. And very, very importantly, I'd like you to subscribe the channel. If you subscribe, you are blessed. You will be receiving continuous messages of hope in life. And I'm sure you are sharing this YouTube channel as well. Please continue to share and importantly subscribe, that you might receive the channel and the videos regularly. Thank you for subscribing.